Good evening. Welcome to the Wednesday night 12 by 12 layouts. Let me do a quick introduction of myself. My name is Barbara Ragsdale and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I am here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in order to show you how to use Stampin' Up! Products to make your 12 by 12 layouts. And so today we're going to be doing a wedding layout. This is by special request. There was a customer that reached out to me, and I'm pretty sure she's watching the replay because she's not on Facebook, so she watches the YouTube version. Hey Stella, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe her name is pronounced Nadia. It could be Nadia, but it might be Nadia as well. Hey Sandy, Mom, that's my mom-in-law. But she actually requested through email to do a rustic barn wedding layout. And so, of course, I was like, of course, I'll see what I can do. And I was kind of sad in the beginning because Stampin' Up! Did have some barn dies and some other things, but sadly those are all retired, so I can't use any of that. Even though I have it in my retired stash, I can't use that because you can't buy it. And so I had to get really creative with the things that we do have in our product line, and I think that you will be pleasantly surprised what you can do with Stampin' Up! Products. So if you're watching me for the first time, thank you for joining. And if you're not familiar with Stampin' Up!, we're a paper crafting company. And so primarily, most of us do cards, but you can also do projects, home decor items, you can do your scrapbook layouts, and that's what I'm here every Wednesday night to show you. So let's go ahead and get started with getting this camera pointed down so that we can give away the prize for last week's viewer. And in order to get onto the wheel, hey Jennifer, in order to get on the wheel, when you like, comment, and share any of my videos, that gets you into the drawing for whatever I'm going to give away. And if you remember, I have them back behind me, but if you remember, hi Cindy, last week, the last two layouts were a masculine theme, and they were all using the Well-Suited Suite from the January to June mini catalog. And so let's go ahead and get this pointed down. That way you guys can see exactly what I'm going to be doing. Bring the lights in a little bit more. Okay, so the drawing. Let's get the drawing out of the way. Let me fix this. Oh my gosh, how crooked is that? There we go. See if I can see enough to be able to see comments too at the same time. Hi, Sochi. But I'm going to give another 4x6 sampling out of the Well-Suited paper. Oops, that one's short. I got to fix that one. Gotta make sure I fix that one. Okay, well, this is just a sampling, so you can see the design that we worked with the last couple of weeks on the last layout, and that's the other side. So let's give this away. Let's see, I think it's this one. What is today? Oh gosh, I think it's this one. No, that's not the right one. I'll make sure I got the right one. Where is my, I'm looking for my wheel. Let me put this off to the side here, because I know that there was a wheel. Well, okay, there's a little technical difficulties with the wheel, but, because I know I did it. All of these already have spins on them, so that means that there are no other wheels. Well, I'm sorry, you guys. I guess I'm going to have to go back and recreate the wheel from last week, because all of these were already spin, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Okay, well, I will have to announce a winner later. I'll just put it in the comments so that we can move on. Get that out of the way. Turn that heater off because it's going to get warm in here now that I'm standing up. Okay, so today we're going to be doing, this is just a sampling here, but this is a sampling of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper that we're going to be working with, and specifically it's going to be the patterns that are the wood grain textures, and I think it is this dark one right here. It's this dark one. I'm even using that one, and then I am using this design right here, and it seems like yeah, those are the only designs I'm using from this, but I'm also coordinating it with the Peony Garden Designer Series paper. I just think both, when you see this thing start to come together, you'll see that the colors just really mesh well together with these rustic wood grain colors plus the Peony Garden. So that's what we're going to be working with today. And I'm going to be using, instead of the classic 12 by 12 basic white, I'm going to be using a 12 by 12 piece of gray granite to get this going. So let's go ahead and get started. And where's my little sheet? Got my little cheat sheet off to the side that tells you, so that I can let you know what these measurements are. And so I am using this side of this Designer Series paper. So let me get some adhesive along the back of this. And we are going to put this one straight up here at the top. Okay, we're going to butt that straight up to the edge. Oh, you know what? I was going to show you guys something. Because I don't create these layouts beforehand, I have to create the layout and lay it out and get everything in its place and then take a picture. And I wanted to show you what I have to look at. So I always take a picture of what I'm doing, and then I have to have this off to the side so that I can actually see exactly how I'm supposed to put this thing together. So, okay, so now we have that piece down, and then I'm gonna put this piece of basic black, and you will see later why. But this piece is, these are 1/2 inch by 11 inch pieces. I've got 2 of them, and I'll be using the other one at the bottom later. So I'm going to stick this piece right up against this Designer Series paper and try to even it out on both sides so that I have that 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay? And then now I need to put down these 2 pieces of this wood grain. You will see this start to come together right before your eyes. And let's see, you know what? I probably should have put this piece down first, now that I think about that. Hold on. Let's see if I can pull this up. There we go. Yeah, this little piece needs to go on first. Okay, let's get that back behind there and even that up right underneath that piece of Designer Series paper, and then right about along the left edge. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with the other piece on the other side. Oops, totally ripped that. Let's get rid of that. I think I'm almost out. There we go. Okay, if you push too hard, you're going to rip your paper. And I probably need to do the same thing over here, so hold on. Let's pick that up, put that under there. So I need to make sure on my tutorial that I put this piece down first. and this black piece goes across the top. Okay, so now we have that, and then I've got my other black piece of cardstock. I'm gonna get this down. Why this is not advancing on me here. There we go. Okay. All right, and we're gonna put this one at the bottom, sort of line back up along with the top one. Oops. There we go. Trying to get that down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so there is that piece. I'm trying to look at my picture at the same time. And then I also have this piece of designer series paper right here, and I wanted to make sure that it looked like a walkway. So it all depends on how you cut it, however you want your walkway to go, and I wanted mine to go that way, so I just went ahead and left it like that. And we're going to put that, we're going to put that right here. I'm not going to push it down too hard because I might have to move that over just a little bit. So I'm just going to leave it right there, and then if I need to pick it up, I can pick it up. Okay? And so now, let me put this off to the side, because now what I want to do is I want to focus on, this particular layout is going to focus on one big picture of like the bride and the groom. So I have these pieces of gray, smoky slate. I have this designer series paper, and then I have a piece of petal pink as well. And this piece of smoky slate is a 5x7 piece, and then this piece of designer series paper is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So it's just another 1/4 inch down. So let's get some on there. And we're going to center this in the middle. Let me move that out of the way a little bit. I need more room. Okay, so we're going to center this, but before I forget to tell you, what I did on the edge of this piece of smoky slate is I just used one of our pieces of sponge with early espresso, and I just distressed the edge a little bit. That's all I did, and I did that all the way around. So you'll see, because this is going to take a little bit long to put together, I've gone ahead and done several of the steps. Okay, so then now I took one of our square doilies, and I'm going to put one on every corner up here, and I'm going to attach it with a simple glue dot. So let me get my glue dots. If you're joining me after I got started, thank you for joining me. And I'm going to put one of these doilies in every corner, because I want this doily, this vellum doily, to show up at the corner of each of this picture. Okay. Where's my other pieces? Oh, here they are. They're so see-through because they're the vellum that they got lost with the color of this mat. Okay. So just get one down in each corner. And last one. Okay. Okay. And then this piece of petal pink, we are just going to put this one as the top mat to this picture, and then you'll be able to put a picture on top of this mat. So a little bit of that petal pink shows through. Okay, so we've just got that one centered. And then I also in our January to June mini catalog, we also have these pieces called clever clasps. clasps. Say that a few times. And there's some silver ones and there's some gold ones. And I think it was just a nice little compliment to what I was doing here. So what I did is the ribbon that I'm using in this is the petal pink organdy striped ribbon. And then I'm also using the scallop lace trim. And then you'll also see, where'd I put it? I've got some braided linen trim that I'm working with too, and that's what I put on here. So all I did is I took one of the clasps and I ran through the ribbon and just tied a little simple knot just for this to hang off, and then I can trim it off later. And all I did is I'm just clipping it to the top part of this picture up here. Okay, so this is just going to hang kind of loosely once I get everything down. So let me bring this back, and then I'm going to put this loosely right here. I'm not going to put it down just yet, but I am going to show you. I got to put one of these down first. I made a barn door. I made a barn door using the designer series paper, and then I also am using the antique corners and slide elements, and I'm using the slide element to mimic the hardware for the door. So I want to put this one on first, and then I can put this piece on, and then I'm going to show you how I made the barn door. So I've gone ahead, and I don't know if you can see this from the camera. Let me see if I can flip it around for you. But the texture is also wood grain. And I did that because I went ahead and broke out the embossing folder. So not only did I want to see the wood grain texture with the designer series paper, but I also embossed it as a whole. Now, one thing I did learn is it's probably best if I kept the barn door to 6 inches, because the embossing folder is only 6 inches by 6 inches. And so that made it a little difficult. I'm going to put a couple of more dimensionals on there. That made it a little difficult to run it back through without getting a line. But I figured out a way to cover that up a little bit, and y'all will see. I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on each side there too. Okay, so let's put this on, and basically this is going to look like it is a sliding barn door. Okay, I'm going to put that one down first, and I'm going to show you how I did it. So let's put that down, and then let's get some dimensionals. Oh, actually this one I wanted to put directly down, so I'm just going to use adhesive on the back of this. Oops, oh, getting too rough there with that one. Okay, and then this one is going to butt up directly to where that barn ends, that barn door ends. Okay, that's why I wanted to leave this loose a little bit, because I knew I was probably going to have to pick this up and move it, because I want this to be directly right outside the door. It's like a walkway. Okay, right, and then let's go ahead and do the top part, and then we'll do the barn thing so we can keep moving. And I have 2 pieces of ribbon. I've got the organdy ribbon, and then I also have the lace trim ribbon. And let me get some, you know what I'm gonna do, because I don't want this piece to stick down here. Let me go ahead and put this piece down, and I'm gonna put it down with some tape to hold the back down so that it doesn't, normally I would put adhesive on the back, but I don't want that. I don't want that, because that's going to mean that the glue dots are going to want to stick to the back of my, oops, well, hello, let's do this. The glue dots are going to want to stick to the back of the mat that I'm working on. So let me get this, sorry, I'm out of focus probably there. I'm going to put this down with some regular tape and hold that down. And then let me pull this across. Well, that's too short. All right, let's try this again. I know I measured it long enough. Okay, so it needs to go over just a little bit. Okay, we're going to try this again. See if I can do this like this. Okay. And then we'll get this other side. Once you pull it tight a little bit, pull that straight. This piece can flap over. Trying to get it to stick to the ribbon. There you go. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the lace. But I want the lace to be just hanging over just a little bit so that you can see that ruffly part on that black piece of cardstock there, which that black piece of cardstock is supposed to represent the railing for the barn doors to hang on to. Okay. Now if you need to, if you're putting this together and you need to put a glue dot here and there, just make sure it's maybe at the point where the two ribbons overlap so that it's not so noticeable. And I think you can get away with that. Okay, that was upside down, but I did it. Okay, so now we have this little piece at the top. And let's go ahead and do the Love You Always at the top. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I used the heart pack punch, and I just punched out a piece of the same designer series paper. I'm going to put that down directly onto this scalloped heart. Let's put that in the center. And then I also went ahead and die cut out from the Love You Always bundle. I know you probably saw this last month because this was last month's special bundle, but I used the adhesive sheets and went ahead and die cut it out so we could save some time. Just peel that off. Okay. And then line this up on the love. That sounded like something hit the house. I don't know if y'all heard that. Okay. And then I have my little Laverne L. I call it my Laverne L from Laverne and Shirley. Okay, and let's get that L in there. Okay. And then we're just going to put some adhesive on the back. And we're going to put that across our heart. And then let me grab a large dimensional, stick that in the back, pull that off, and it goes right here. So I've got that one, and then I stamped and already die cut out U. I stamped that in Memento black ink, and I already have a mini dimensional on the back. And let me save that one. I'm going to put that on afterwards. And then I also have Always. So we're going to do the same thing with Always that we did with the Love. We're going to peel that off and get this lined up. Okay, get this lined up a little bit better there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing that I did in one of the cards last month with the little Y, where I took that tip of that Y and I clipped it because I have a heart charm that I want to put on there. So I need to get my fine tip glue. I got to do this really quick so my glue doesn't start drying out. But right at the point where I have, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back side here. Oops, that's probably too much. I just put, there's all that glue right there. So all that glue is actually going to help hold the Y back together at that point, and it's also going to help hold down that heart charm in place. So while that's sitting there kind of drying, let me put this back in before I forget. Should do it with my right hand here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And then I am going to pop this one up with dimensionals. So let me get some dimensionals on the back of this one. You know what? I meant to do whites, the white ones on this one, only because of the light colors behind it. So hold on. My container was fighting with me. It like really caught on. So let me do, just because it's a small amount of space if you're looking at it sideways. So I want to go ahead and put the white ones on here. I wasn't too concerned about that one, but on this one I kind of am. So let's peel those off. And that heart charm will just continue to sit in place like it needs to. Okay, and on here, we're just going to put always right here. Okay, now that gives me an idea of where I need to put the U. So just peel that off, and I'm going to put the U right here, right in the middle. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do our, before I go too far, I want to show you how I did the, because this step I can do next. I want to show you how I did the little, uh-oh, one just fell. Hold on. I want to show you how I did the antique corners and the slide elements. That was hard looking at that on the floor, but I found it. So I went ahead and did 3 of them, but when you first get the package, they're almost like a brass. But I wanted it to be like a black metal. So what I did is I just took the element, and then I took the brush tip of our dark basic black Stampin' Blend, and I just literally colored it. It won't take long for this to dry because it's alcohol base. So I literally just, that's how I got them to be this distressed black kind of tone to them. And I just let it set to dry. So I'm going to put that off to the side while I show you how I made the barn door. Okay, so let me move that over. And I've got my main piece. And this piece is a 3x7 piece, and I also embossed this as well. So you've got not only the visual, but you've got the feel of it as well. And like I said, I didn't do this bottom part because it was kind of tough having that line there, but I'm going to cover that up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me grab, getting some glue dots ready off to the side. I'm going to put a glue dot in all 4 corners. We don't have a die to do this, so I actually went online and I found a picture of a barn, and I really liked the way the barn door looked, and I was like, I could make that. You know how we are, we can make that. And I really did make it. Had to play with some measurements, but so we're going to put our crisscrosses on first, and it's okay that they're hanging over a little bit. That's actually okay. Now these are an 1/8 inch of a strip, So it's not a very thick strip. Okay, so now we have our crisscrosses. And then all I did was I snipped off the excess, little overhang, anything that was hanging over. There we go. Okay, so now I have, there you go, I want this part to be on the bottom. And then I also have my my top and my bottoms. So let me get, I used adhesive on this. Let's see if I can get away with adhesive. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna put a top on. I had to really study how that barn looked like it was put together, that barn door. So, and then the same thing on the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to put some on the sides, but the sides I'm definitely going to have to trim. Okay, so we're building a stable barn door here. And then I have this piece here. I think I'll use glue dots. That'll help me to position this a little bit. So we're going to put a glue dot here. A glue dot in the middle. Oops, and a glue dot at the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to put this piece down. Bring it straight down. Line it up. Make sure everything's still lined up. And then anything that is hanging over, I just snipped it. And I'll do the same thing for the other side. Lots of glue dots here. And last one. Same thing. I want to make sure I'm, where's my bottom? There's my bottom. Okay. I'll make sure I'm snipping off the right side of the bottom here. Right. And I'm sorry, you guys, I am not looking at the comments. All right. So then now we have the door, and I want to put the hardware on. So these pieces already have glue dots on them, and so I am just putting this piece on, and I'm using the middle part of the little bracket there as my guide for the top and bottom. I think that sticks on there. Yeah, I have a glue dot on there. Okay. And then let's get a glue dot on this one. Put a glue dot in the middle of this one because it's going to be the handle. And let me bring this back so I can make sure that my handles line up. Well, somebody just dropped something upstairs, and I know y'all heard that. Okay, so what I did was I had done a couple of more of these to put on the bottom so that this bottom rail, but that's why there's little marks right here, because when I took them off, it peeled off a little bit of the designer series paper, and I just went back in and kind of colored it back in, but you couldn't see them. You couldn't see it on that one. So I'm going to save these two because I may not put them on this one either right here. So let me get some dimensionals on the back of this so that I can put this one down. Okay. So I took them off, but I went ahead and, you know, I'm gonna leave the other ones sitting off to the side, because if I decide to put them on, I don't know if my other little flowers are gonna cover it or not. And I didn't want to do something if it was just gonna cover it up. So now on this one just goes right up against this other one that was done. Okay. And this can go over or above. It doesn't really matter. It's just hardware. Okay. Get that lined up a little better there. Hold on. That went down a little crooked on that side. Okay. I think that'll work. I think that'll work. Okay. So now we have this so far, but we're not done. We're not done. So I'm going to leave those open just in case I put some of the hardware on. But I had to come up with something in order to help cover up this little happening over here. And what I did was, I am using the one of the other pieces of wood grain designer series paper, and then I also embossed that with that wood grain embossing folder as well. And then I took these 1/8 inch strips of basic black and made the hardware to the barrel. Now, in order to do this, I took the I think it was the 3 inch. Let me see if it's on my note here. Oh, it was the 3 1/4 inch barrel oval, the ovals, layering ovals. And so this is technically an oval. And I just cut off both of the ends by about, I think, 1/8 of an inch, I think it was. And then I took my pieces of basic black 1/8 strips and ran it across. And then just like I did with the barn, anything that was hanging over, I just trimmed it off. So then now I have a barrel. And so we're going to put that. I'm not going to take that down just yet. Let me see what I want to do. Because what I did is I took the Forever Flourishing dies and went ahead and cut out these flowers. These two come from the Forever Flourishing dies. So this is Petal Pink and this is Soft Sea Foam. So if you're wondering what this green is, it's Soft Sea Foam. And then I took this piece from the Pretty Perennials dies, and this is just a piece of the cardstock vellum. Okay, so let me get some glue dots. I think I have this one. Let me get a glue dot on here. I need to build my little flowers here, and I think this one was at the front. That way I can put some adhesive. Let's see, that's why I didn't want to use glue dots too much right there, because it'll stick. So I'm getting some glue dots on the front of this little bouquet. So I just put some glue dots on the front of that because I want them to poke out of my barrel, kind of like that. Okay, so now I can actually take my dimensionals off. Oops, let me get that off. And I'm going to put this right here. So it's got a barrel. Move that a little closer to that edge right there. Okay, so now I have that. And then I took the lace trim and I also went ahead and made a bow. And I put one of the pastel pearls in the middle. So I'm going to take some glue dots and put it on the back of that. Let me get a couple of them on there so they could stick really, really well. Okay. And then I'm going to stick that right there at the top of the barrel, kind of where the base of those flowers are. That was the part of the sneak peek that I put earlier when I was talking about the sneak peek. Okay, and since I'm right here, let me go ahead and finish this little part up right here. Because what I did, I wanted some dimension to this little walkway. And so I went ahead and cut two pieces. This is a 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch piece of this same designer series paper, and I put some dimensionals on the back because I wanted it to look like it was like a little curb of some kind. You know how you walk down a curb and it kind of has that, you know, on the side, the raised stones? That's what I did, and that's what I wanted it to look like on here. So that just gives it a little bit more dimension to the walkway. Okay, so let me get rid of that. Okay. And then now let me walk over to this side right here, because I also did another barrel, but I only did like half of a barrel. I didn't want another full barrel, so I did like a half size, just to have a little bitty, a smaller pot sitting over here. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I went ahead and cut some more of these out, but I did them a little different. I didn't do the same bouquet that I did over here on the other side, so I did it just a little bit different. So let me get some glue dots on here and help build this up a little bit. Just some random, I think what I did is I added a vellum of the same dye, and then I added this little piece in pale pink, just to mix up the little sprig, the little spray a little bit. Okay, so let's get that one there. And then let's get this little guy, get a glue dot on him. I'm going to put him right here in the front. And then this one we're going to put next to that one. Okay, just kind of off to the side like that. So let me get some glue dots on the front of that. Let me get several glue dots. Okay, and then we're going to put that right behind that top piece there. And let me go ahead and pull those off. So now we have a really big little bunch going on here in a little half barrel, and I don't think I need those. I don't think I need those other two pieces of hardware, because this is going to cover it up. Okay, so then I'm just going to put that right there. And then I was worried about these little pieces right here that are missing. Let me look at some comments. Well, hi, Susan. Because I wasn't sure about filling these in. So what I did is I went ahead and cut 2 more pieces of this Pear Pizzazz die. And I'm just going to pieces off both of these. Just going to use some random pieces, because I felt like something needed to be there. And let's cut this piece off. Oops, my scissors are sticking to the glue dot. Here we go. I'm just going to stick something right there on the side to help fill that up. And then let's do the same thing to the other side. I didn't want to use the regular shades of green, because our other shades, I think, would have just really not done this a service. So let me trim this side. Sometimes you got to trim these up a little bit to get exactly what you want. Okay, I'm going to put another one on top of that to help cover that. So let's see, which one can I use? Let's do this one. Let's do that one. Let me get a glue dot. Lots of glue dots. Definitely lots of glue dots. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can trim that up a little bit. A little bit. It's going to look a little bit different, but it's okay. There we go. And then let me put the little ones like right here. I think something needs to be there. Go crazy with the rest of these. Just kind of help fill in that little blank space. That's why I struggled with if I wanted to use 12 by 12 basic white, or if I wanted to go with the smoky slate color. So I think that'll work. You could definitely add more of the greenery, really kind of beef it up around the barrels, but let me make sure. Oh, there's one more piece. I almost forgot. I took the Tasteful Labels dies, and I did die cut one out in basic white, and then I also die cut another one in the smoky slate, because I want to add I wasn't sure if I wanted to stamp something here, so I just left it blank, and I was like, I can stamp something later. Let me do this sideways here because I'm right-handed. Okay, and then let me get some dimensionals on the back of this. Actually, on this one, I'm just going to put a dimensional on the bottom. That's what I wanted to do on that one. I just put it on the bottom, and I put it really close to the bottom, and the reason why is because this little piece right here, I was going to put it right here in the center, so that if there is a picture that is on this particular layout, you can see the picture, but then you also have this little piece right here that you can just attach at the bottom, and there's no dimensional. The dimensional is actually going to go on this piece of designer series paper, not this piece, so that it would be really, really easy to you know, slide your picture back behind that and get it matted, as long as it wasn't covering up anything. And this particular piece, you can always put the date, the last name, just married, anything else. I just wasn't exactly sure what to stamp on there, so I'm just going to leave that loose for now. And that is it. Let me see if I can get this pulled up a little bit more. Move that out of the way so you guys can see most of that layout there. And I'm on my tippy toes, so hopefully you guys can see all that. But there is the first page to this episode of this rustic wedding barn layout, and hopefully you can see all that. I think you can see all that in the same picture there. So what do you think? That's all dried. You got a couple of barn doors there, and you get a nice big open piece to put a really pretty picture of the bride and the groom, maybe coming out of a barn if you're doing a barn wedding, coming out of the barn with a little, you know, little nice walkway for them to come out, and just, you know, barrels of flowers on both sides. So I hope you guys enjoyed this particular layout. I'm looking forward to doing the other half. So the other half is going to equally complement this particular one, and I will go back and redo the drawing, so I'm sorry about that in the beginning. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight, and we will see you Sunday if you want to join me Sunday afternoon at 3, or I'll see you back here next week at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, thank you guys. Good night.